refer to my amendment number 2 to the government amendment. The hypocrisy of the government and of the European Union in its Machiavellian manoeuvring in the Ukraine is breathtaking. The misfortune of the people of the Ukraine was to be trapped for decades in a Stalinist dictatorship, a very brutal regime dominated by Russia. When Stalinism collapsed, control passed then, of course, to robber barons and oligarchs who robbed blind what was there of the publicly owned economy, to right-wing regimes based on capitalism. Now again, the people of the Ukraine have been caught in a ruthless pincer movement between two major capitalist powers, two imperial powers, the European Union and the US on the one hand, and Russia on the other, each pushing its own selfish economic and political agenda, exactly the train of events that led to the First World War, though thankfully that's not in prospect now. The EU is guilty of nauseating hypocrisy in relation to these issues. I was 2 years on the International Trade Committee of the European Parliament and saw the EU in its economic dealings with outside countries to be absolutely brutal and ruthless, pushing the interests of European big business. Kazakhstan is a case in point, a brutal dictatorship that represses workers, massacres workers on strike, but for its fabulous wealth, its president is feted by the leadership of the European Union. Now they are jockeying with Russia. The Yanukovych regime was absolutely brutal and corrupt, hated by a majority of the people. But then we have the EU backing the most right-wing reactionary forces in response to that, to represent their interests, which are now in the government. Neither Russian capitalism nor EU neoliberalism have anything to offer the working class and poor of the Ukraine. We have the spectacle of billionaire oligarchs in the Ukraine now being placed by the government in charge of regions. So I say end all military interference, NATO and US and Russian forces out of the region, and let the peoples shape their own future. I believe neither Russia nor EU nor their economic systems has anything for the poor or working peoples. The wealth should be placed under democratic control and ownership of the working class in the Ukraine, not oligarchs, not the European Union, not EU big business, not Russian oligarchs either. And on that basis, it would be entirely possible to build a new society based on essentially democratic socialism, where only the interests of the people are predominant and in which all rights, linguistic, national, religious, etc., can be guaranteed.